What if I told you that one man's story connects billions of people across the world today? A story of exile, survival, faith, and destiny. Today, we are talking about Ishmael, a figure known across multiple religions, cultures, and histories. Some see him as a forgotten son. Others see him as the father of nations. But who was Ishmael really? What happened to him after he was sent into the desert? And why is his story still shaping the world today? Let's begin at the very start, the world before Ishmael. To understand Ishmael, we first need to understand his father, Abraham. Abraham is one of the most important figures in religious history. He is respected in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. He was known as a man chosen by God, a man promised descendants as numerous as the stars. But there was one problem. Abraham and his wife Sarah had no children for many years. In ancient times, having children was not just emotional. It was survival, legacy, and honor. Sarah, growing older and losing hope, made a decision that would change history. She gave her servant Hagar to Abraham. And soon after, Hagar became pregnant. And that child was Ishmael. The birth of Ishmael. Ishmael was Abraham's first son. At first, this seemed like the answer to Abraham's prayers. But human emotions are complicated. Sarah began feeling jealousy and pain. Tension grew between Sarah and Hagar. According to historical and religious texts, Sarah treated Hagar harshly. Hagar fled into the desert. But something incredible happened. She had a divine encounter. She was told to return and was promised that her son would become the father of a great nation. This is important. Even before Ishmael was born, his future was already written into history. Eventually, Hagar returned and Ishmael was born. Abraham loved his son. For years, Ishmael grew as Abraham's only child. The turning point. Years later, something unexpected happened. Sarah, despite old age, gave birth to Isaac. Now Abraham had two sons. But tension returned. Sarah feared Ishmael might share inheritance or influence with Isaac. Eventually, she demanded that Hagar and Ishmael be sent away. Imagine that moment. A father forced to send his son into the wilderness. A mother walking into the desert with limited supplies. This wasn't just exile. This was survival. The desert trial. Hagar and young Ishmael wandered into the desert. Eventually, water ran out. Hagar, believing her son might die, placed him under a tree and moved away, unable to watch. This is one of the most emotional moments in the story. But then, hope. According to religious traditions, God heard Ishmael crying. A miracle occurred. A source of water appeared. This moment is especially important in Islamic tradition, connected to the well of Zamzam. This was not just survival. Ishmael's life after the desert. Ishmael grew strong in the desert lands. He became known as an archer and a survivor. He married and built a family. Over time, Ishmael became associated with desert tribes and nomadic cultures. His descendants spread across regions. In many traditions, he is considered an ancestor of Arab peoples. His story shifts from survival to legacy. Ishmael in different religions. Judaism. Ishmael is Abraham's first son, but the covenant continues through Isaac. Christianity. Ishmael appears in early biblical history, but is less central to later theology. Islam. Ishmael is extremely important. In Islamic tradition, he helped Abraham rebuild the Kaaba. He is considered a prophet. He is honored as an ancestor of Prophet Muhammad. This makes Ishmael one of the most globally influential historical religious figures. The reunion with Abraham. One of the most beautiful parts of Ishmael's story is his relationship with Abraham later in life. Despite separation, many traditions describe them reconnecting. Faith, obedience, legacy, unity. It shows that Ishmael was never abandoned in destiny, only separated in path. Ishmael's legacy today? Billions of people trace spiritual or historical identity back to Abraham and his sons. Ishmael represents survival against impossible odds, faith during abandonment, strength built in hardship, destiny beyond rejection. His story resonates with anyone who has felt overlooked. Ishmael's story. Lesson 1. Your beginning does not define your ending. Lesson 2. Hardship can shape greatness. The desert did not destroy Ishmael. It defined him. Lesson 3. Destiny can exist even in pain. Sometimes rejection is redirection. Why Ishmael's story still matters. In today's world, Ishmael's story reminds us of something powerful. History is not built only by kings and empires. Sometimes it is built by exiled sons, single mothers, survivors, believers. Ishmael's story is not just religious history. It is human history, sent into exile, raised in survival. But his story did not end in the desert. It spread across civilizations, across faiths, across centuries. And maybe that is why his story still matters today. Because Ishmael represents something universal. Even when you are pushed into the wilderness, you might still be walking toward destiny. If you found this story interesting, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who loves history and deep stories. And if you want more historical and religious deep dive documentaries like this, let me know in the comments.